It is a blessed Sunday. Welcome to the Lord Aboga TV newspaper review. Straight away, we start by the Daily Nation, whereby the main headline reads, "The pain of being a school principal." That is a sad state of affairs, and it has brought many teachers to its knees because the school is not giving capitation fee to schools right on time the way it is supposed to be. Now, as it stands today, the government owes schools 64 billion Kenya shillings. Can you imagine 64 billion Kenya shillings? When the finance minister comes on a national television and says that he has already issued the capitation monies to schools, that is so unfortunate. Because principals are now getting frustrated day in, day out. Some of them have even developed chronic diseases like pressure and diabetes. That is so unfortunate, and the finance minister should up his game and say it the way it is. It is not fair for him to lie onto a national television that he has been giving capitation fee to schools.
Have we failed to pay capitation to schools? We paid in full. Are we not meeting our expenditures for security and other matters? Yes. Are we going to release the entire CD?
Yet there is no monies that these schools receive. How do you expect these principals to run these institutions? That is a very unfortunate state of affairs. This is what the Nation writes. The seemingly prestigious job of heading a secondary school is turning out to be stressful, with delayed state funding, dodging suppliers, political interference, pressure to excel in examinations, and indiscipline defining the role. That is being a principal in Kenya today. You don't have money to pay suppliers, members of parliament, MCAs, governors interfere with your activities in school. The government is not giving capitation fees on time. Very unfortunate that this is what principals go through. The Nation writes that there are 5 things that are seriously a challenge and to running of these secondary schools. Number 1, Kenya government owes Kenya secondary schools Kenya shilling 64 billion. Number 2, there is humiliation by parents over poor performance. Now, the principal is not given enough money to run the institution. He doesn't have the funds to employ additional number of teachers to help in running of the institution and teaching of these technical subjects. Teachers don't know about that. After the KCSE exams are out, teachers will come out gun blazing, blaming the principal of not running the institution in a right manner. That is so unfortunate unto our principals. Number 3, there is political interference. You get an MCA comes to the school with villagers want to command the school principal. Do this and this. Give me this tender. You get a member of parliament comes into a school, wants to command the principal. Do this for me. Give me this. Give me. So unfortunate. There is serious political interference in schools. A very serious political interference in school. For example, there is a CBC classrooms that are being constructed at the moment by the national government. But members of parliament will want to command principals on who to issue those contracts unto. That is an unfortunate part of it. And these are some of the challenges that secondary school principals go unto. The government should do this and give principal a conducive environment to work for the Kenya kids. Number 4, there is erratic and delayed release of capitation. This is the monies that the government is supposed to send out to the schools. The government nowadays does not send that money. Government of Kenya, the Kenya Kwanza led administration, how do you expect these schools to run when you are not releasing capitation fee on the right time? How do you expect these schools to run when you are not issuing the capitation monies at the right time? That is so unfortunate. And you know, Now we are in term 2. Term 2 is always kinderlong without financial muscle. How are the principals going to run these schools? Government of Kenya, CS John Mbadi, please release funds that are meant for schools, for principals to be at peace of mind. Number 5, the challenge that principals are undergoing today, dodging suppliers over mounting debts. What will the principal do? It's just to dodge suppliers. And these suppliers also need this money so that they can sustain their families, so that they can sustain their businesses. That is so unfortunate unto the Kenyan government that you can have such a crisis unto our schools. Then the Kenya Secondary School Heads Association chairman, that is Bwana Willy Kuria, had this to say: suppliers are on our necks and they no longer trust schools. We have to play hide and seek and at times instruct the guards at the gates not to let them into the school. We've ended up living dishonest life. That is of principles giving such an information, such a revelation, that they go to an extent of playing hide and seek to suppliers. Now, who will supply them next time? You know, suppliers will label schools as a place whereby you cannot be paid your monies. Who will supply items, foodstuffs, unto these schools? Bwana Mbadi, unnecessary chest thumping. So unfortunate. That is a Daily Nation. Straight away we move on to the Standard, whereby it has a very interesting headline, whereby it Standard says the illegitimate deputy president. There we see a picture of Deputy President Kindiki Kithure. Now this illegitimacy of Kindiki Kithure comes in whereby the Court of Appeal ruled out that Rigathi Gachagua was removed out of office and procedurally. You see, that is a crisis. And it is honorable if Kindiki Kithure is indeed honorable the way we think he is. He should just let that position go, because he is holding on an illegitimate position. He is not the right deputy president, according to the law, to sit unto the helm of a deputy president. Kindiki Kithure should do the honorable thing and get out of that office as Kenya's deputy president. He should get out of it. If we were in developed countries which have strong democracies like the United States of America, like Britain, Kindiki Kithure would have just stepped aside in peace. Maneno imechemuka hapo kidogo. This is what the Standard writes. Court of Appeal ruling that the bench that declared the way for the impeachment of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was illegally constituted, has made null and void the subsequent process that followed, including the swearing in of Deputy President Kindiki, while some pundits argue that Kindiki should do honorable thing and vacate office. Others say matter has overtaken by events, and as the matter unfolds in courts, it is bound to raise political storm, coming a time when the 2027 battle lines are taking shape. Kindiki just resign. Kenyans will respect you for that, because that position that you're holding is illegitimate as far as the Kenyan constitution and the Kenyans laws are concerned, because it is the responsibility of the judiciary to interpret law. The judiciary has just interpreted law that the impeachment of former President Rigathi Gachagua was unprocedural, and it went against the law for it to be conducted, whereby the Deputy Chief Justice empaneled a bench that went ahead and ruled in favor of the Senate and the National Assembly that former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was impeached in accordance to the law. Now the courts of appeal have ruled out what it was judged on the lower courts, that it was a procedural way of removing former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua out of office. Now again, there it comes a political question. Things that Kenyans will ask President William Samoei Ruto come 2027 during the campaign moment. How did you go against the law to get out your duly elected Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua out of office and appointing an illegitimate Deputy President onto that seat? That is a question that Kenyans are going to ask President William Samoei Ruto. And it will be a very tough question, because what is the answer? There is no answer to that. Maneno inaenda kuchemuka hapa mbele kidogo kidogo. And I'm told at the moment, President William Samoei Ruto is sending emissaries to Rigathi Gachagua for them to reconcile. Can it happen? Anyway, it is always said that in politics there are no permanent enemies. As long as interests are catered for, I think Rigathi Gachagua and President William Samoei Ruto can still work together. Because as it stands today, even President William Samoei Ruto deeply regrets impeaching Rigathi Gachagua, because the political storm has not been favorable unto him. I think that is what we have for today and to our newspaper review. For these and many more, subscribe unto our YouTube channel at Lord Aboga TV. Remember to press the notification bell so that when you come up with this interesting content, YouTube will automatically notify you. Till next time, goodbye.